influences me on a regular basis is knowing that there's so much more that we don't know. And I feel like, me and maybe hundreds of others out there are feeling the same way. And what I mean is that, like other life and just existence, and
Gotcha.
just like energy that we're not able to harness correctly because we're not being shown those ways to do so. So it's like we're swallowed up in social media and certain foods we eat, and just the way like we perceive reality almost.
Yeah, so you're saying there's more that we don't know.
There's definitely more that we don't know.
Things like another life, or
there's other life. There's for sure other life. There's other ways of living, other ways of transporting.
What do you mean by transporting?
Using certain elements to travel at a faster rate, faster speed.
Gotcha. Could we talk about this other life?
Yeah.
Could you explain what that is and how you know that to be true?
Yes, I can. When I was 9 years old, I was staying at my grandmother's house for a couple of days, and it's a small town in Texas, out in the boonies. And for 3 nights in a row, these government officials came, and they just escorted me to their car, and then they took me into this building, and there was these scientists there. There was U.S. scientists, and there was other scientists from another planet. It sounds a little bizarre, but there was a couple of them in there, and they took sperm cells from me. And that happened I think it was 2 or 3 times in a row, and then it never happened again.
Okay. How does this relate to another life?
Other life.
Existing. Yeah.
The simple fact that I saw another race, another existence in the same room as me.
Like an alien or something?
Yeah, an alien, or you're just another being. Or that's what I see it as now. Back then, yes, alien, but just... Yeah.
That's what you mean by other lives?
Yes.
Like other species?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know this to be true because you had this personal experience?
I had this personal experience, and it wasn't until recently that I kind of suppressed that, and I turned it into... Because I was in shock, and I didn't tell anybody, and I didn't want anybody to know, because I felt like they probably would have definitely judged me. And I kind of suppressed it into this dream. And after a couple of years, that dream slowly turned into just something I envisioned, and then after that, it just slowly went away. And it wasn't until recently that I met someone that used to work for Nellis Base, who showed me that I could express myself and be okay with what happened. And what I saw was definitely he can confirm as well. Yes, there's.
You met someone who let you see what happened more clearly? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
How did they do this?
Because they were a weather observer for Nellis Base.
For what?
They were a weather observer for Nellis Base.
Nellis Base?
Nellis Base.
What is that?
It's a military base in Nevada.
Oh.
Yeah.
They were a weather observer?
Yeah. So he had to do it manually there. Now they're able to do it through this automated robot, but before he would have to manually go up there and take one of those balloons and then take the temperature of the air and the climate.
And how did he allow you to see this more clearly?
Because he had to work with scientists of their kind as well. He worked closer with them than me.
You've met this person?
Yes.
And he allowed you to see these past experiences more clearly. How?
Because he was able to. He let me explain myself, and then he explained himself, and he went a little bit more into depth, which kind of and he was on the same wavelength as me. I was telling him what I saw and what I experienced, and he was able to go in depth, with everything that was going on in that room.
He was able to go in depth?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Tell me what exactly they were doing with my sperm cells. And
how did he know that was true?
Because he works on that same base as those scientists, I guess, work. I'm not really sure how close he works with them, but he definitely does a couple of different things with them, the splittings, he was a geologist, but he worked close with other scientists there.
How do you know he actually works there?
because he's retired now, and he's posted like on Instagram. He's posted like it's become this big conspiracy for him, but or people think, but he's like posted his W-2s on Instagram, so people know like where he was getting paid from. Which was, it was like, it's, United States, Nevada, Nellis Base, it'll say it on there.
So you found this person on Instagram?
No.
Or no?
No. So he lives in New Mexico, and he was talking about it one day on YouTube, and so I decided to hit him up. And then I went over and I visited him and his family. He's way older now. He's probably like in his 50s or 60s. He kind of waited to start this YouTube channel until his kids graduated high school, so he wasn't like made fun of or anything. Anyway, like needless to say, like it was nice for me to talk to someone and feel okay with like knowing what I saw is not something I could have fabricated or ever imagined.
Just by talking with him and him confirming your stories?
Confirming his own stories, like his own beliefs. Like he's a God-fearing man, and he said he was like mentally paralyzed for like the first year working there because of like what he was seeing and how casual it was, like the interactions.
Is it possible he could have been mistaken about what he saw or did?
Most likely not. The only reason why I say that is because I ended up, after getting close with him, I attended one of his conferences. They're very small, he's not popular, and a lot of people that went were actually his past employees, and it was crazy to see like them like so he would be mentioning something about like a time of like something had happened, and he was like, oh my gosh, I remember that, and oh my gosh, yes, she was beautiful, and they were talking about like a certain being,
So at a conference where he was giving a talk or something, he confirmed other people's stories about things?
Oh, other people were able to confirm about, their own, like they were there on base with him. And it was really neat to see other people like, yes, Charles, yes, I remember that. Or, but do you remember this? Or do you remember when she did that? Or like, it was really cool to see like everybody linking. Like I didn't know any of these people. And these were like, I guess his past coworkers.
What is she like?
So that made me feel more like have more sanity like with this topic.
It made you feel more sanity about this. Okay.
Because it's really hard when you experience something for yourself and you want to share it with people, but we've been conformed to like these lies or just this way of living that we could never even like fathom.
I mean,
it's
very extraordinary.
It's extraordinary, and it's I'm so glad I'm opening up now because I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like love needs to be shown more. That's what I just keep feeling after like opening up more and like sharing it with people, or like them asking me like, why are you so happy all the time? Like, why are you so inspired by life? And it's because I know like this isn't the only like thing existing right now, and I know we were meant to be like interacting and engaging with others and sharing our love and building love with other things. And
you feel this way because of what happened to you?
Yeah, but I know that we aren't as big as we think we are.
We aren't as big as we think we are?
We aren't as big as we think we are.
So this belief gives you
this experience,
the experience that we're not alone, or we're...
Yeah, we're not. It's not that we're not only alone, but it's just like we're longing for love all the time, and that's why when you see people partying on the weekends and they're popping pills and they're doing this and doing that, it's because they're reaching a higher conscience, and the higher conscience is just pure love, and they're out having fun, and no one's bringing like this negative energy, and it's because that's pretty much a cry for help. Like the young people are doing it right now. Like it's like we are meant to just love all the time. We are meant to be at a higher power. Like, and when we are at this higher power with ourselves, we're able to build. And we're able to go places with other people. I mean, as a community, as one. Because the only reason why I say that is because learning from my friend, they have a different system on how they do things. So like they're able to travel, other places, and they're able to do this and they're able to do that, and their kids have certain permissions. And so it makes us like, why is it taking someone to be 16 years old to get a driver's license? Like that's literally. It's like these different stages that we have to hit, and we think that we're hitting a milestone, but that's the only thing we know. Like, a 8-year-old could be driving for all we know. you could finish the 12th grade, by the time you're 10. I'm just like making examples, but they just have, different systems and how like they're able to.
The people who follow this guy, or this guy and
The beings have a different system.
oh, these other beings.
Yeah. And the crazy part is like there's like so many different kinds that we work with. It's bizarre.
How could someone find out about this or see evidence of it?
To be honest with you, like it's slowly being like, and this isn't me. We're slowly being desensitized to it, and so what will happen? This is like how I'm predicting it. It may happen a different way, but like it's going to happen where we will communicate with other aliens, or we'll be on a planet where this happens, and it'll be like, we think we made contact. We almost did. And slowly, like, so it's not bringing the whole Earth into like culture shock. So like what's gonna happen like down the line is what I'm saying is like we'll slowly like start working with them. But really it's like just a way of to slowly like mentally break us down into a new way of living.
Is there any way to see these beings?
I mean if you're able to if you can hop a fence to Nellis.
They're all in Nellis right now?
Yes, and it's this is going to be like this is absurd, but this is a very hot time for them to be there because of the heat, and they come here to vacation.
They come here?
They come here.
They go outside.
It's in base? So according to my friend at that base, they have a really nice resort type thing. And they're able to just climb the mountains and just explore. Supposedly they can't see the stars from their planet. They're about 42 light years from here. And they come with their families.
So they come to the base first?
They have. Well, that's like their U.S. governments have like agreements with ours, and that they can only go there.
And you know this through this person
Yes.
who worked there?
Yeah, he worked there for 3 years.
Now retired.
He is now retired. They retired him after 3 years, or they put him under like a retired.
Okay. Could I get a sense of your confidence that this is true? Say on a scale from 0 to 100?
110. I would never lie. And this is the first. Like I feel so good right now. This is the first time I've ever like had it recorded or anything, but it feels
very interesting.
Yeah.
So you're 100% confident. Does this mean you could not be mistaken about this at all?
No, I can't.
What would you have to learn or find out to possibly change your confidence that this is true?
To change my confidence?
Yeah, to doubt it a little bit. To think,
honestly,
this might not be true.
I never could. After what I saw, after what I saw and what they did to me, nothing could ever.
Well, for example, you said you could go see them if you jumped the fence and went to the base right now.
Yeah, and die.
If we went to the base and jumped the fence and got in there and explored all of the base but didn't see anything, would that change your confidence?
Absolutely not.
No.
We're working with technology. My friend, we're working with some very technology that's nearly like maybe 500 to 600 years like ahead of our time. That's like slowly being issued out to us. It's crazy that nobody notices like Wi-Fi and cell phones and stuff like that. Just shit started to like pop up within the last decade and a half.
Are you saying there's no way to find out if it's not true?
There's no way you would find out if it was, or you wouldn't, or not, like either, because you wouldn't be able to ever get in.
There's no way to find out if it's not true or if it is true?
And that's how good they are.
How can you be 100% confident that it is true if there's no way to find out that it's true or not?
Well, here's the thing. If they don't want you to know, but people are experiencing these lights and these abductions all over the world, how can you say it? How could someone sit there and fight something that people are experiencing in different places, different mindsets, different consciousness, different ways of living? People who are the businessman and the blue collar who has this certain look on life, and that whole structure is just shattered to pieces after they experience these things. Versus the small Indian lady over here in Indonesia who experienced the same thing. Like, how does...
If someone could explain to you sufficiently an alternate explanation for these things, for these experiences people have that have nothing to do with these beings, would that lower your confidence that this
Absolutely
is true?
not.
So
I mean,
something else.
Which it's at this point, it's pretty much like telling me like, you did not live your life. I'm telling you what you lived. You know, it's pretty much impossible at this point. Like,
If, yeah. So there's nothing that could change your mind about it?
no,
Okay. Then is 100% the most accurate spot to be for this belief?
where?
If you can't find out if you're wrong about it.
So if I can't find out that I'm wrong,
Yeah, if there's no way to find out that you're wrong,
I feel that someone's gonna bring it to the light soon.
what?
I feel like someone's gonna bring it to the light soon.
What do you mean by that?
Like expose things they're not supposed to.
If that doesn't happen, will that blow your confidence about it?
No, because there's a lot of people that I've met out here that have experienced stuff like that, and I don't know, I feel like there's just like the millennials are like understanding something way deeper, like we're going back to our roots.
Millennials?
The millennials.
Okay.
I mean, just the people that I've met and encountered and then befriended, and the relationship we built and the mindset that we've created. It's going, at this point, like, I feel like there's going to be this paradigm shift, and we're going to wake up and we're going to realize that we've been kind of trapped in this way of like this spinning like hamster wheel, and we're gonna fight to stop it. We may not do it, but
If we search on YouTube right now for someone who, let's say, believes in leprechauns, and we go to their house and we talk to them and they explain, they experienced leprechauns, they saw one, would we be justified in believing what they say?
the thing is, I can't bug anyone's experience, and if that's what happened to them, that's what happened to them. But
We would be justified in believing in leprechauns because that's what they say?
you have to respect someone's, decision to see something.
We have to respect their experience?
Absolutely, just like I respect your experience, and I respect the person over there's experience who probably fell,
Yeah.
and and I saw it a different way.
Yeah, we could respect them as people, but could people be mistaken about their experiences?
Yeah, depending. Yeah, story. The time we're living right now. Stories are. People are telling stories just so that they could, get a little bit of fame or get some views. So absolutely.
So how do you know this is not the situation in your case with this guy?
When there's over like 100,000 sightings that go on a year and people report them and nobody likes to investigate, at this point it's like, what kind of hoax are?
So you're saying these sightings of a bunch of people give you confidence that this is true?
Oh yeah. It's more than confidence. It's just like reassurance. Like Keanu, like these people are probably going through the same thing you used to go to. Like they're freaking out and they're gonna tell themselves not to believe. The first thing you want to do is say this didn't happen.
If there was like 100,000 sightings of leprechauns by people, would that necessarily make leprechauns true?
I guess so.
Would it?
Yeah. Absolutely. If
Without us having any direct experience?
Absolutely, absolutely. But unfortunately, that is not the case right now, and I don't see that being a YouTube topic. And I don't see leprechaun prints being found. I don't see people being kidnapped by leprechauns. I don't see TV shows like using subtext to work with leprechauns. I see it with aliens. I see it with other life.
You see it with these aliens?
I see how we use media. Like that's another way of desensitizing the community, is like exposing us to cartoons and like these different things and like what Martians look like and all this stuff. And we think it's funny, we think it's cute, but it's really just another way to manipulate us and slowly like bring them in.
Okay.
So that's a nice example you gave, but however, there is no spiel on that. I don't see that happening. I'm not searching that and not seeing that's real. Do you know what I mean?
How is just the media showing depictions of aliens actually related to the truth of aliens?
Through, drawings, through the whole idea that's thought out of, Martians are from Mars and they're green and this and that. Like, why would we randomly start coming up with that in the 90s?
Just drawings of like dragons and leprechauns necessarily make them true?
Oh.
So drawings of things doesn't.
But why is it that they're
necessarily
always
true.
working with our government? Why is there always backstories to them? You know what I mean?
The aliens?
Yeah, or just like what the ties that they have. Do you feel like it's just a coincidence that, these different shows that came up in the 90s and the shows that in the movies that are up now, like it all has something to do with like a secret service or some sort of government officials?
If someone could explain to you
Hey, how far are
that these
you
were just
driving or-
coincidences,
In each movie, in each show,
yeah, would that lower your
each-
confidence?
Oh, okay, because it looks like you Uber when you were driving.
maybe not.
Maybe, maybe not.
Maybe not.
So there's something deeper going on.
There's something
here.
so deep going on, and
So you got lucky drug.
there's something so like it's so crazy. There's like even what I'm telling you, there's something even deeper than that going on.
Yeah.
There's something even like
All right,
I've
we're opening
I've
this up a little bit.
I've had to work like private parties with celebrities, and like they are like well aware of what the fuck's going on, and nobody is saying anything. I don't understand why. I feel like I'm living like in this fucking like alternate universe where it's like a movie. Like you guys know, but are they not saying anything because they're scared, or like what's the deal? Do they have ties? Is their family gonna get cut off? Like
Yeah.
I feel like it's a cry for help. People just want to scream it out. Like
If
We're
this
d-
wasn't true, would you want to know that?
yeah. I'd want to be proven wrong. Like I want them to say, "Keanu, when they took you those 2 or 3 nights, this is what they were doing. This was just the government dressed in, silly suits. But like, why would you do that? Like, why would you take somebody?
If it wasn't true, and you want to know that, if it wasn't true, would it be in your best interest to identify something that could possibly show it to be not true? That you could find out and learn?
I don't
to
know
see
what
if
to.
it's-
I mean, I've even like at one point I emailed a sergeant of Area 53, and they got back to me with the most vaguest, like blankest answer. Like I was telling them like what happened, and they had the nerve to say, if you like, we understand your experience. If you want to apply to work with us, feel free to. Like we're always like enrolling like potential candidates and stuff. So and I was like, but you didn't answer any of my questions, like, but yet they showed interest. So I felt like, hey, like maybe he's definitely not crazy, but like let's see if he'd even be interested in the position.
So you can't think of any way to test this belief at all?
Unless I was able to go incognito and hop some fences or shapeshift and go inside the base and take pictures.
If you went inside the base,
Oh.
incognito, and explored all of it, but didn't find anything,
Oh yeah, I would definitely be. Oh no, I mean it's. What do you mean, like just walking around and like, okay, no one's here?
if you didn't see evidence of these aliens, would that change your mind?
No.
What would change your mind?
The explanation of my experience,
The explanation of your experience?
of my personal experience, of them drawing, literally like putting something in me and drawing it, just drawing it out.
What are we feeling like for
And
brunch?
your experience, you know this through dreams?
No, it really happened.
You remember this happening.
I remember this happening.
Can people be mistaken about their realities?
Something like that. I don't know, something traumatic, something like that pretty much changed your whole way
Can
of
people be
thinking.
mistaken about traumatic memories?
Possibly. Absolutely.
How do you know you're not mistaken about your traumatic memory?
Well, because I pushed that away, and every time somebody would bring up that topic growing up, as for fun, like just like honest, I would get very emotional and I'd get very uncomfortable. And I knew that deep down my subconscious was still holding on to that. Like no matter how far I pushed it into this dream, it wasn't like, and it happened, and you should have said something back then, and you should have just told your grandma what happened. You should have just told your mom what happened. You should have told your pastor. You should have told somebody you trusted.
So there's no direct evidence of this happening to you?
They'll clean you right up, right back on your way. And as a kid, it's perfect. It's like, what, like, how much believe, like, you know what I mean? Like, how much do we really have in the say so at the end of the day?
So,
like, if I would have
but
told my
that
parents, like, yeah, he's not making it up, but maybe somebody just like touched him. You know what I mean? So maybe somebody just touched our son, and now we're gonna not let him have to come outside during this time. I was a very smart kid, and I'm just like, that's exactly what it probably turned into. Someone hurt, like, sexually harassing me or like abusing me, which I did feel that way,
if someone came up to the table and talked about a dream they had or an experience they had as a kid with experiencing a leprechaun or some weird thing, would that necessarily make it true?
Good girl.
So
Come on.
So people can be mistaken.
Come on.
No, he's very.
But the
traumatic
thing is
things.
that people aren't going to believe me as well, and that's the unfortunate part. That's how much of the out of the whole. There's only so many of us.
Should you believe yourself? If
Yeah.
all the evidence that you have is just a vague memory.
Well, it's not vague. I can remember it very clearly.
Well, a clear.
The experience, like it's almost like you falling and you broke your arm in the 5th grade and you remembered how, what's his name, tackled you. And it was on accident. Then his mom came out and she did that same thing she always did. It's those memories that you remember that you put in your little barriers because that's something you want to remember. That's something that happened. That's something that literally builds you. It's a small barrier of all the other barriers that builds you and has made you do this today.
Yeah, but just having a broken bone is something that's kind of common.
Exactly, and this is very common. Like what I'm saying is common, and some people don't ever speak about it. The people who do speak about it are crazy. So it's like,
How can we say it's common if we have no direct evidence of it?
because people talk about it and people talk about the same experiences I have. So it's like, when you keep bringing this leprechaun thing in, it's a very valid example. However, that doesn't seem to be the most prominent thing if I were to draw up dragons, leprechauns, and elves, and aliens. Do you know what I mean? If we were to do a mass call right now, I think the majority, maybe 99%, are going to call and say, this happened to me. This is real. And there'll be very legitimate people.
99% of people would say something similar to what happened to you. happened
People, I don't
to
think
them.
anybody's going to pick dragon, elf, or leprechaun. And I can be really honest about that. If you had a mass call right now and you were able to reach anybody in LA, and you had 4 phones, the phone that's going to be ringing is aliens. The phone that's going to be ringing all day is that. No one's going to call and say, I had a leprechaun experience. No one's going to call and say, yeah, I saw an elf and they kind of talked to me. I think it was my gnome, but I don't think it was. It's going to be this. Because this has been happening and it keeps happening. But you know what the funny part is? Is like, why doesn't anybody ever like push it? Why are we pushing like these celebrities? Why are we pushing like Kim Kardashian and all these other people, but we're not pushing that through the news? Like, why isn't that ever a segment?
So you're saying
I'm just saying, like, it points
the
to like,
popularity of aliens in our culture lends credence to this idea that they actually exist?
it's not even popularity. It's like, it's almost like people, the media and like what we're being controlled by skips over like the people's experiences like mine, and it makes me feel broken and scared and uncomfortable to express myself because you never want to address it.
The media makes you feel uncomfortable.
They make me feel uncomfortable to express it because they don't ever seem to want to do a topic on it. When people see stuff, when people have stuff on their phones and it's right in front of them, they never seem to put that on. But next door we'll see 2 people arguing, and that'll be like the front headlines of the news.
Since people have cameras on them all the time, why don't we see evidence of these things?
Right. I think we're seeing it now. We're seeing people upload stuff now. It's becoming more tangible to us. But at the same time, that's why I'm saying we're going to be slowly desensitized. It's going to get to the point to where our technology is going to be...
There's evidence of this right now?
Yes.
Where?
YouTube or anything. Just type in any type of thing and just look at the videos. Just look at
What's the best example for you of like the video?
The best example for me would be someone standing out, using their cell phone, standing right outside their house. It's about maybe a mile up. It's a sphere, almost like the same sphere like is in China that's in the U.S. or at the same, you know what I mean? At the same time, it's just like
some type of object in the sky. Is that what you're saying?
Different objects, different people saying they've ended up on the road. Why was their glass broken? Or for example, this girl in Joshua Tree who just like, she posted this thing and she was laying in her bed and there was this giant sphere right outside her house, and she freaked out. And
so if all of that on YouTube could be explained in a natural way without these...
Well, yeah, I would still want, mine would still have to be explained. Do you know what I mean?
So it all comes down to your personal experience.
Yeah, because that is like, that gives me reassurance, but regardless if that is true or not,
If your personal experience could be explained, that this alien had nothing to do with it,
it had nothing to do with it, and it was just humans dressed up in certain types of.
or you just imagined it. Let's just say.
Or if they were able to rewind and show me that I imagined that, yeah, absolutely.
So if we went back in a time machine and saw
Absolutely.
that night you were just sleeping,
Absolute, please.
that would change your mind.
That would change my mind.
You know what we do on Sunday?
That would be.
Come out yet?
Actually, have to head out.
What? What?
So unless you have a time machine,
That's
all
fucked
right,
up.
well,
Hi.
You guys
so
are
out here, I'd love to continue.
I put it right
yeah.
here.
Thank you so much. Just be ready, man.
You did it.
Yeah.